Whatever it takes to lead. Whatever it takes to inspire. Do whatever it takes. Call 1300 GO Bombers.
Well, welcome to the engine room on the new look BomberTV for season 2013. We'll be joined every week by an assistant coach, and this week we're joined by Sean Wellman, our defensive coach, ahead of Friday night's game against the Adelaide Crows, our round one game. Welly, thanks very much for being with us. Of course, the fans can tweet in every week via the club's Twitter account with questions for Welly. I've got a couple for you first, mate. How have you seen the pre-season and the playing group so far?
Yeah, it's been really good, J-Rod. Been able to get a lot of work into the players, and we've probably achieved, I guess, our goal up to now, obviously without playing any games, but we've got a lot of work in the players and we've got a fit and healthy list. We go into the Adelaide game with two guys that aren't available for selection, so that's really healthy.
One of the guys that we think will be available, David Zaharakis, got through on Friday night in the VFL game. Looked good? Yeah,
he did. I mean, he's worked extremely hard. He did a lot of training before the injury, and no, he performed really well, ran the game out really well, so he's put his name up for selection. He's a really important player for us, so it'll depend on selection, but he's done everything that he possibly can.
And up forward, Scott Gumbleton returned in beautiful fashion. I think he kicked 5 goals and marked strongly.
Yeah, he did, and it's great. I mean, obviously everyone knows his history, but he's a really talented player. He's worked really hard, and I think he took 10 or 12. Between 10 and 12 marks, had about 8 or 9 shots at goal, moved really well, so that's fantastic, and he just needs to keep improving, put some more games together, and he'll be really important for us later in the season.
We picked up a couple of mature age recruits in last year's draft, Dylan Van Noonen, but also Nick Commer. Nick Commer's the one that's probably impressed most over the pre-season, playing at least 3 of the NAB Cup games.
Yeah.
I know you can't give too much away, but obviously he'd be a chance for Friday night to debut.
Yeah, he's definitely a chance. I mean, he hasn't missed a beat with his training. His pressure's been really good. His attitude's been first class, and he's really enthusiastic the way he goes about his football. And as you said, he's a mature age recruit, so his body's a bit more developed than some of our younger guys. So he's done everything he possibly can, and he's certainly in the mix for Friday night.
Can I ask you one about the sub player this year? Off the back of last year, and I guess getting used to having a sub, is there any particular strategy that we'll take into games in terms of the type of player we'll use as a sub?
Well, I guess across the board there's different mixes. I mean, I know Sydney tried a ruckman at one stage and that probably didn't work, but I think most teams are looking for some run, particularly later in games. So, and a guy that can play multiple positions. If you do get an injury, you can go half back, half forward. So I think you'll see that type of player sort of come in, probably more that midfield type that can play multiple positions and can run and have an immediate impact on the game, rather than your defender or your forward.
Okay. All right, let's head to a few of the Twitter questions. We've got Nick who said, how did you view the backline's performance over the pre-season, so their defensive performance specifically? Yeah,
pretty good. Obviously Mark Bagley's probably the new guy that's come into that group. The pressure for spots is good, and that's healthy for us. Tate Pears and Kyle Hardingham at the moment are in really good form, and they're going to be important parts of our team, but at the moment they're not getting a game. And I think that having that competition around the group is really healthy for us. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think the more football these guys can play together, the better they're going to gel and become a unit, because there are guys like Hibbert and Bagley. These guys, although they're 22, 23, they've probably only played 15 to 20 games. So the more games, and we expect these guys to improve sharply and be really important for us.
Michael Hibbert's had a super pre-season, hasn't he? He seems to have really developed his game, and is one of the instructions you guys give him is to peel off and go for his marks the way he does?
Oh, well, basically we've got all structure, and we like to play to that, but we also need to let guys play to their strength. And one of Michael's strengths is he's very courageous in the air. He's a really courageous player, puts his body in, and we love that about him. So, like all our players, we want them to do the team things, but also let their natural ability and play on instinct come out as well, and Michael's been able to do that.
All right, Bradley Scott's asking, can the current playing list appreciate the significance of one of your old teammates, premiership teammate Dustin Fletcher, playing his 21st season in the Essendon defence? I'm not really sure what that question's specifically asking, but
I guess they'd look at when he debuted, and most of our guys, well, all our new guys basically weren't born, so it's pretty amazing, isn't it? But no, he's as enthusiastic about his football as ever. So I think rather than look at the birth date and 21 seasons, they really look at the way he goes about his footy and can learn off someone that's with him every day.
And joins Bernie Quinlan, I think, in 6th spot overall games record, and if he plays 14 games at least this year, he'll break Simon Madden's all-time record, which is an amazing achievement. Okay, and we've got one more from Dale O'Neill, who's wondering whether or not you can see Hooker, Pears, Carlisle and Fletcher all in the same backline throughout the year if Gumby is banging down the door and Hurls doesn't play back as well.
Yeah. Probably not, to be honest, probably not all at the same time. I mean, the reality is they're 4 key defenders, and very rarely has the opposition got 4 key forwards, so that just doesn't add up. But I expect every one of those guys to play a really important role. At the moment, there's some guys getting a bit of a look in front of others, but that's where the consistency, the level of improvement from now every week has to be there from each individual. And as I said before, that competition is really healthy, and it's only going to make us a better team and the individuals better themselves.
Can I ask one about our training techniques? I was talking to one of the boys earlier. They were mentioning the captain's spoil. Can you take us through exactly what this routine is?
We have a bit of fun with defenders. We do get ridiculed by the mids and the forwards probably for good cause a lot of the time. But we have a bit of a captain's spoil, a bit of fun out there where basically you got to belt the ball into the crowd or the grandstand as far as you go, and row A is a pretty feeble effort. If you're getting up to row F and G, you're going okay. So they're taking it pretty seriously, captain's spoil at the moment, and there's been a few standouts. I think Cole Hardingham's been a bit of a standout pre-season, and Jake Carlisle as well. And they're giving Fletch a bit of a run for the money for captain's spoil.
Very good. There's one you can practice at home. Well, Welly, thanks very much for joining us on the first edition of the Engine Room for season 2013, and all the best for Adelaide on Friday night.
Thanks, Gerald.